Hi, this is Dr. Janet Six, Senior Product Manager at Tom Sawyer Software, and today we're going through the simple project tutorial that comes with Tom Sawyer Perspectives. Before you start today's tutorial, be sure to create your working tutorial directory, which includes the data, project, and source directories. For the first step, we will go to the Tom Sawyer Launch Center and start graph and data visualization. Next, we will save our project file as simpleproject.tsp in our project directory. Now we are ready to add our module. So we'll select Module, then Add Module, and add Network. A project consists of one or more modules, and each module contains different components, such as a schema, integrators, and views. The schema defines the structure of the data you are working with. Integrators access the data from your data sources, and views define how to visualize the data. Next, we will define the schema for our project. We open the schema editor and turn on the drawing view. Next, we will add an element type, which will be called device. Now we need to add attributes to our device. The first one will be called ID. We go to the inspector and make this an identifier. Then we're going to add another attribute. This time it will be host name. And we need to add one more attribute. This time it's status. We're going to add another element type. This one will be connection, and it will be an edge in our schema. It will go from device to device. We're going to add an ID attribute to the connection, and we will make this an identifier as well. Next, we will add an integrator. So we add integrator of type Excel. And we're going to call it Network Excel Data. Now we will enter the location of the Excel file. And we'll test the data source to be sure we can connect to it. Next, we will go to the bindings and to define how to bring the data into our in-memory graph model. First, we select Device. We open the data. We're going to select everything down to those pluses, which will have us bring in all of the data to the end of the file. Then we're going to bind from data element type to the data source. So for each element in our schema, we'll select a column. For connections, we will go to the connection sheet. And again, we're going to highlight all of the data down to those plus signs. And then we will go in and bind elements from the data into our model. Now let's go back to our device element and press the play button so we can see a preview of the data. Now that we have data in our model, let's add a drawing view. So we're going to add view, select drawing, and we're going to bring in everything of type device and connection. Next, we're going to select Device, and then we're going to choose Actions and Structural, and then Add Node. What this means is that for every node in the model, we will also have a node in our drawing view. Next, we're going to open the web preview so that we can see those nodes that were in our data source. And there they are. Next, we're going to change the node appearance. So we're going to go to Drawing Template 1, then Default Node Template. We're going to first change the UI type to an ellipse. You'll see the preview now at the bottom of the screen. Next, we're going to update the name that shows. So we're going to come over here, and we're going to select Host Name and double-click it. And now you'll see it in the bottom, but we can't see the whole name. First, though, let's update our color to blue. And now, let's go resize the node so that the host name will fit inside it. And there's our preview as we expect. Now let's do a web preview so we can see those updated colors. And here they are. Next, we're going to go back to the designer, and we're going to add some edges into our drawing. So we go to the definition of the drawing view, select Connections, then Actions, then Structural, and Add Edge. We can take the defaults here in this dialog, and we'll click OK. Now you see, for every edge in the model, we'll also have an edge in the drawing. Let's do a web preview and see. And there they are, all of the nodes and the edges. Now let's go back to Designer and update the layout style. We're going to go to Model Rule, then Actions, down to Layout Properties, and set Drawing Layout Properties. And here you'll see that hierarchical layout that we just saw. We're going to come down here and change it to Symmetric. And you'll see some information about the symmetric layout below. The designer also allows us to set options for the layout algorithm. Now you'll see that we have some red items here telling us there's a problem. So let's click on this. The designer is confused. It doesn't know which drawing to lay out. So we'll tell it to go ahead and lay out the root drawing. We only have one of those at this time. And then we go back to Web Preview. And there is our graph with a symmetric layout. While we're here, let's look at the other layout styles. Here's the same graph with bundle layout, circular layout, hierarchical layout, orthogonal layout, and back to symmetric. Your simple project is complete. At this point in the process, you would decide if you want to create a web or desktop application from your project and then create it. While there are tutorials to help you with creating an application, they come after the designer project tutorials. Continue with the tutorials in the documentation to learn about topics in this tutorial and additional designer features such as view behaviors, drawing view appearance, searching, filtering, and graph analysis. Thanks for joining us. Contact Tom Sawyer Software today to start your free trial of Tom Sawyer Perspectives.